I'm Brian Downs, and here on ProSex Studio we discuss the sexual subtext of popular films and television shows. Many believe that we live in a sexually permissive age, but any short study of modern narratives shows that we are the neo-Victorians. In this episode, I examine the 2020 Hulu original Palm Springs. Does this comedy, fantasy, mystery deliver a positive or negative message about sex? We open with Niles, played by Andy Samberg, always entertaining, in bed in Palm Springs. He's in this Sonora desert resort town with his girlfriend, Misty, Meredith Hagner, to attend a wedding. The first thing he sees when he opens his eyes is Misty applying lotion to her calf. He says, "That's a nice leg." Misty looks affectionately exasperated and says, "Okay, fine, but we have to be fast." Smash cut to the two of them having awkward, unfun sex while she tells him to hurry up and that also she can't start sweating. Within seconds, she abandons their effort, makes her apologies, and leaves him to finish himself off while she prepares to be in the bridal party for a wedding that isn't for another 6 hours at least. That's the first minute and 45 seconds. That's the opening of the movie. Two consenting adults in a long-standing relationship in their own hotel room can't manage it. The very next scene is Niles lying on the bed in his t-shirt and boxer shorts while Misty complains that he didn't orgasm. He might have been more successful if she had pretended to be engaged in their coupling. "Hey Misty," Niles says, "will you kill me?" What Niles knows, but we don't yet know, is that he is trapped in a time loop that resets him back into that bed when he falls asleep, when he dies, or when he enters a certain supernatural cave nearby, whichever comes first. The film doesn't tell us how many times he's already reset, he doesn't remember, but it seems to have been a lot, many years worth. So what the opening scene is actually telling us is that it is impossible for Niles to achieve any joy or fulfillment with his own girlfriend, even with years of practice at the same encounter. Getting naked with this willing blonde is Niles' hell. And reliving the same luxury resort wedding an infinite number of times. This is the wanting disaster. This is the most common negative meme there is. There are 12 negative memes that are commonly repeated in film and television, and this is the most common one. Niles wants to have sex. He's pursuing sex with Misty. Makes him feel awful. Trying to have sex leads to a bad result. The wanting disaster. Sarah, played by Kristen Milioti, is the older sister of the bride. At the wedding reception, she is beguiled by Niles' approach, and when Niles directs her to peek through a window, Sarah is shocked to see his girlfriend Misty having illicit sex with the wedding officiant. Notice when Niles and Misty were together earlier, it was disappointing and humiliating. Now that Misty is coupling with someone else, she seems to be having a first-rate amount of fun. She's literally panting, "Oh my God, we're so bad. We're so bad." When Niles is with Misty, it's torturous to him. That's because Niles is a protagonist and your problem is sex. That's one of the negative memes. When a protagonist wants sex, pursues sex, or has sex, it's presented as a character flaw. It's something he needs to overcome or outgrow. Misty, on the other hand, has sex easily and often. All she needed to get it started this morning was for Niles to tell her that she had a nice leg. Now she's hooking up in a bathroom. It's villains who sex. That's another popular negative meme. How can you tell who the villains are in a movie? They're the people who enjoy their sex lives and do it without shame. Why is Misty a villain? Well, she's a shallow twit, but also she has sex. How do we know that Niles should abandon his relationship with Misty? Because Misty has sex with someone else while literally announcing how bad she is. Seeing Misty's behavior, Sarah says to Niles, "Well, if it makes you feel any better, my whole family is embarrassed by me. They all see me as a liability who fucks around and drinks too much. Because I fuck around and drink too much. Which they tell me all the time." We're back to your problem is sex. What is the problem in Sarah's relationship with her family? What Sarah does with other consenting adults. Also, danger is sex. This is a negative meme wherein sex is presented as dangerous, off-putting, anxiety-inducing, or conversely, that danger is presented as sexy. In this case, Sarah drinks too much. Her substance abuse issue and her sexuality are presented as the same problem. This is very, very common in movies, that sex and sexuality is presented as the same thing as drug addiction. Naturally, the next thing that happens is that Sarah and Niles slip off to a convenient spot in the desert for their own tryst. This isn't very sexy though, because Sarah can't manage to undo the knot holding up Niles' board shorts, so Niles does it, pushes his shorts down, and reveals that he's wearing boxers underneath. So they have not even halfway done it. They haven't even gotten their clothes off when an arrow hisses out of the darkness and pierces his back. Niles is being hunted by a mysterious man named Roy, the awesome J.K. Simmons. So Niles drags himself into that magical cave nearby, which resets him into his hotel room bed. But the bewildered and frightened Sarah follows him, so she is reset into the bed she woke up in that morning as well. They are now in the loop together. This is the wanting disaster. Sarah just wanted to have sex with Niles, and what she got was a traumatizing new look at the sport of archery and plunged into an infinite time loop. Niles wanted to have sex with Sarah, and he got shot with 2 arrows. In time, Sarah adjusts to this startling new circumstance. She's got to try suicide a few times first. Niles explains that Roy is someone whom Niles once directed into that cave. Now Roy is also in the loop and takes out his frustration about it by using arrows and jumper cables and gasoline on Niles now and then. Sarah asks Niles about his personal life in the loop. Niles sometimes has sex with Misty, we've already seen what kind of experience that is, and rarely with anyone else. It's a lot of work to seduce someone in one day. We see a short comedic montage of these encounters. Comedic, not erotic. He has never hooked up with Sarah in any previous reset, though. This is clearly not true. He approached her with a choreographed series of dance floor maneuvers. I predict a big reveal about their history coming up, and one that will reflect badly on Niles. But now, this Sarah, in the loop with him, tells Niles that she will not be sleeping with him. He replies, I was thinking the exact same thing. We'll be seeing each other all the time. Let's keep it simple. You know what you shouldn't do with someone you see a lot? Sex. This is the negative meme, your friends are your family and family doesn't sex. In this meme, the people you are closest with, the people you spend the most time with, even if they happen to be about approximately your age and have compatible sexual orientation with you and so on, are people you should never have sex with. We've seen this over and over and over again. Sex and the City did it. Friends did it. Community does it. Do not have sex with the people with whom you are most close. Your best friends are not allowed to be your partners in bed. Sarah settles into her new loop life, and she and Niles become best friends forever and ever, living in a repeating world where they want for nothing and have nothing to fear. They wake up each reset morning with a smile on their faces, looking forward to being together again. Until, finally, we don't know how many resets later, maybe years, they are amusing themselves by camping in the desert near the hotel, and as they bed down in their tent, Sarah whispers, Niles, let's just get it over with. Get it over with. Why shouldn't they do it? They clearly have a great deal of personal chemistry, they have compatible sexual orientations, and they are, in effect, the only people in the world for one another. Why shouldn't they connect physically? Clearly Sarah wants to, and yet she talks about it like it's an unpleasant chore. They make love. They fall asleep. They reset. And the film reveals something that it has been hinting at for a long time. Sarah hasn't been resetting to her bed. She resets to her sister's fiance's bed on the morning of the wedding. She's been a very bad sister. Your problem is sex. What is the worst thing Sarah has ever done? A one-night stand. Having gone to bed with Niles, Sarah now starts behaving like a crazy person. She wasn't crazy before. Many days have passed in the loop and she was sane. She spends the night in the tent with Niles, and now she's driven over the edge by her guilt about her brother-in-law-to-be, something that her subjective time happened years ago. She provokes a confrontation with Roy, as well as some police that Niles would have preferred to avoid. Who is she putting in danger of being tased, tortured, shot, arrested? Who knows? The man she went to bed with less than 24 hours ago. This is the wanting disaster. Provoked by her terrible behavior, Niles angrily admits that he has had sex with Sarah many times in previous resets. Here it is. This is Niles' great offense. But why? In those resets, he said some charming, sexy things to Sarah, which convinced her, a woman with quite liberal attitudes about sexuality, that she would enjoy hooking up with him. Obviously, they have a lot of personal chemistry. So reset Sarah has a few glasses, hooks up with the funny guy, then her entire universe ceases to exist. Why is this an outrage? If Niles had said charming, funny things to reset Sarah that convinced her to get into the swimming pool or go for a hike or watch a few episodes of Star Trek, would that be an outrage? So why is this? Because it's sex. This is the wanting disaster. Niles had sex with all those reset Sarahs, all of whom cheerfully consented. Then he had sex with Loop Sarah, who cheerfully consented, and now he must pay. And of course, one of those reset Sarahs accidentally became Loop Sarah because she wanted to have sex with Niles. That's why she was out there in the desert with him when the arrow made its appearance. Then Loop Sarah finally does it with Niles, and now all are punished. Sarah then spends a long period avoiding Niles completely. She seems to vanish from the hotel, fleeing the scene as soon as she wakes up. The movie is vague, but it seems like she is gone for years as she studies high-level physics, experiments within the cave, and develops a plan to escape the loop. It involves a good deal of C4. Then she returns to Niles and says, "I have found a way for us to escape or die permanently. But either way, come blow up with me." Niles counteroffers, "Let's stay in the loop together." But while he's making his passionate declaration of eternal love, she does everything but tell him to shut his stupid mouth. Don't misunderstand, she loves him too, she says so. But it's cute when a woman responds to her own lover's heartfelt declaration with emotional sabotage. It means she feels the same way. This is something I call bad behavior in women. It's not really one of the negative memes, but it's worth talking about. We often see female characters behave in a way that men cannot, not without being labeled the villain. When Niles says, "I love you, I want to be with you, come stay with me in the loop," she says, "No, stop, you get one more sentence." He's trying to tell her how he feels. He's trying to express his love and adoration. He's talking about making a very important decision that might lead to their death. She won't let him speak. She talks to him like he's a toad. Can we imagine this turned around? Has there been one scene in this movie where Niles talks to Sarah that way? No, because if a man did it to a woman, it would be rightly regarded as extremely rude. But when women do it, it proves that they're cool. They go into the cave. They kiss for the first time since their lovemaking in the tent at the end of Act 2. She hits the button. Spoiler alert, they escape the loop. But other than that kiss, just before she detonates her suicide vest, there is never any suggestion of sexuality between them after their night in the tent. To review, they get caught in the loop. They have a very happy platonic relationship for a long time. They go to bed together just once. Disaster, reconciliation, no more sex. This is a common theme and idea in romances. Our principals meet, they fall in love, they have sex, Following shortly thereafter is some kind of disaster that threatens the entire relationship. They reconcile, they might embrace, but we never see them go to bed together again, and they don't talk about it. They don't say, let's go off and go to bed together right now. No, at the end of the film, they embrace and talk of love, but sex has disappeared. Sex led to the wanting disaster, reconciliation, celibacy. So, we see that Palm Springs follows the usual pattern. People who have sex are dumb or villainous, and once the major characters give up sex is when their life improves in a big way. So please like, subscribe, share, talk to your friends about this. That's a help to the channel. Come back next week for more analysis of this kind and take a look at my existing videos. There's quite a number of them. I appreciate your time. I'm Brian Downs.